Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live and conversations with myself and Representative Ann Hughes. My name is Ken Siladi. I'm the conference minister of the Connecticut Conference. We're glad that you're joining us. And I'm here with Ann Hughes, my colleague, friend, and former co-worker. Representative Ann Hughes is representing House District 135, which are the towns of Easton, Reading, and Weston. Aren't you glad I did my homework, Ann?
You did. You always do, Kent.
So Ann, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself with those who don't know you. Many know you from Silver Lake, but just say a little bit about yourself. And let me say, while we're live now, Ann is in between a very important committee meeting that she'll tell you about and may get called out to do a vote, and we may shorten this and I'll keep talking or something, but
sure.
Ann, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Fairfield. I'm the daughter of school teachers and a family of campers and outdoor ecologists, conservation enthusiasts, and activists. My aunt's brother was Father Richard McSorley, one of the premier Jesuit writers about peacemakers, peacemaking theology, friend of the Berrigan brothers. Their family was very influenced by Dorothy Day, and my elders' family, parents, aunts, were deeply influenced by the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., marched with them. My grandmother was a teen suffragette, ran away from her high school class trip to DC to march with Votes for Women down Pennsylvania Avenue. And we have a family famous photo of her 17-year-old self with her banner and a friend. And I followed in those same footsteps exactly 100 years later after the inauguration of Donald Trump, along with the Women's March, and thousands, in fact, millions of us all over the world. Same place, same family, same fight for voter rights and protections and liberty, basic protections, etc. Yeah.
You want to say something more? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's good.
Good background, solid family history, involved and engaged. But what led you specifically into the world of politics, Ann? Why are you in the world of politics right now?
Well, I wore this t-shirt for you all today, and it says, you know, it's part of the annual April actions. This was in 1985 in Washington, D.C., April actions for peace, jobs, and justice, and oppose apartheid and racism, and create jobs and build a just society. And I just wanted to point that out because I was very involved with Students for Peace and ending apartheid and divesting from apartheid in college, and really looking at the underlying systemic systems that extremely benefit some and very deliberately exclude many others, in fact, the majority of others. And so I was very involved politically, and I also brought these other little pictures. This is, let's see, this is myself, probably about 1986 or 1987, testifying before the House Select Committee on Hunger in Washington, D.C. in Congress. And I just found this the other day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm having the same hairstyle right there. I'm over in the corner, and there's Congressman Dick Gephardt, who was a real champion for us as students. And most of these were young people, high school students from around Connecticut. This is Josh Ruxin, who has started, millennial vision in Rwanda now, and I've recently gotten back in touch with them. But the idea was to launch a national movement of youth that created the public will, the political will, to end hunger, to divest from nuclear disarmament, to do a lot of things. And I was very involved then, probably walked, well, that led me to devote the next couple of years of my life in Eastern Kentucky, Appalachia, where I really met firsthand people that really base their lives around their faith and beloved community, building beloved community. I was very moved by that. I was very transformed by that. And I realized at some point I needed to come back to my community and really infuse it with that same kind of transformation, build beloved community. So I met my future husband, Tim, who kept talking about this place, about Silver Lake, his camp community, his beloved community, is devoted to introduce me to that community, and to very dear friends, Don and Liddell Mulvaney, and they were involved with creating creative community at Connecticut Children's Musical Theater with Tim, but also their devotion to high school musical theater at Silver Lake for creating a faith-based community. And they welcomed us to join the gospel choir at First Congregational Church on the Green in Norwalk, where the Reverend Hank Jordan was also really putting faith in action. And I felt like I could build beloved community with a church family and with a camp family. And Liddell and I started the Norwalk Peacemakers and really witnessing on the green at the start of the Iraq War. And so I guess I've been an advocate my whole life, but during my period of time of really devoting to co-directing Silver Lake with Tim many years later, probably walked away from the political life in the capital P sense, because really devoting the time and the work to building leaders for the church and for the world.
Yes, absolutely. And so you are an active member of the United Church of Christ. You are a member at First Congregational Church in Norwalk.
I am.
And have participated in that life, been shaped and formed through that community. Now, how does, you've already given a lot of your background about how your faith has intersected and now with your public life. Could you give a little bit more of how your faith informs the decisions that you're making now at the Capitol here in Hartford?
Yeah, I really see there's such an incredible urgency of now to walk the walk. That's why they call it running for office. Like, you really got to put into practice that moral compass that our faith teaches us to care for our neighbors, to love God as we love ourselves, but to deeply, deeply welcome everybody to the table. And, it's all about the Beatitudes, I think. And I really try to convey, when I ran for office, going door to door, neighbor to neighbor, encountering each person as a belonging member of this beloved community, whether they knew it or not. And trying to convey that in every encounter. And now I try to testify and really center the people that's being proposed. And I get to do that in my role as a legislator, both sitting on committees like the Insurance and Human Services and Aging, where people come to testify with really moving, incredible stories. But also I get to testify in front of all these other committees about my firsthand knowledge about the people most impacted by the policies we're proposing.
Really awesome. Really, you clearly live out your faith through the legislature now, and I'd be interested in you sharing, what are you most passionate about right now that's in the legislature that gets you going about issues? There's lots of things in the legislature right now, and lots of things are moving very rapidly, and thank you for taking time away from the Insurance Committee. What are you passionate about in the legislature right now that's got your attention?
Well, right now, this moment, we are here in Connecticut about to vote out of our insurance committee a public option for an affordable health care as a basic human right for all, healthcare insurance access as a affordable right and as a public option for all. I'm very excited that we're about to take the leadership on this. Also, I keep saying to my colleagues, the moral urgency of climate change threat is now, and we could be a leader. We could be a leader as a coastal state, as in transitioning to renewable energy and transitioning to a green economy. Transitioning into taking the young people who were here last Friday on their climate strike, taking their voices seriously and not perpetuating the status quo, because we have just a very short window to do that work. And that I'm so excited to be here now. Aging, I mean, it's not very sexy, but I aim to make aging sexy again.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I know you've got to run back to your committee, but I did want to say one word about what's coming up that you're going to be a part of on Friday, April 5th at the Capitol. We'll give information on social media as to what location within the Capitol at 10 a.m. There's going to be a chance for all of you who are the United Church of Christ to meet our legislators. Ann is one of those. And you'll have a chance to meet the 3 other legislators who serve in the Connecticut legislature. And we're really excited about this opportunity. We're going to hear from each of you talking about the issues and how we as people of the United Church of Christ can support our members who are serving their call out in this particular way. It'll be a great opportunity to hear from each of them as they speak to us and encourage us to action as people as well. Do you have any parting words that you'd like to offer, Ann, as you get ready to scurry back to committee?
Yeah, please stay engaged. Please show up, whether it's emailing us or showing up in person or at these rallies or events, and hold us accountable. Seriously, hold us accountable to the faith tradition of living out loud. It's not something separate that we keep over here just on Sundays and then really talk about policy that excludes children and the least of us and undocumented. Jesus meant for us to do what he said, and I think that's politically expedient, but it's absolutely morally required at this moment. So hold us accountable.
So grateful to Ann Hughes, Representative Ann Hughes of 135 District, and for the ways in which she is translating her faith into action in the legislature. And we are grateful, Ann, that you've taken a few minutes from your busy schedule to be with us here today. Thank you so much, and blessings to you as you head back to committee for a momentous decision. Thank you, Ann.